Hey, good morning, everyone. I want to talk about something that I call a life plan. And basically, it's the foundation that you set for yourself before you start your goal setting process, especially or particularly what you would use for the 3x5 cards. So in other words, if you're familiar with the 3x5 card goal setting system, you understand that every day you've got a goal card that you carry around with you, and you've got all your goals on there, and you've got your daily to-do list, and there's some other things. And before you start doing that, you want to have some questions answered. You want to do a deep dive session into your life, into your mission and values and your purpose, and of course the goals that you want to set for yourself. And then you pick one main goal and then you break it down and start transferring items from the list, the breakdown, to your monthly, weekly, and daily activities. Now, you don't have to do that. For years, I didn't do that. But it does really help, because a life plan is the foundation that you can just draw from. So you don't have to figure things out the next, every morning or every night when you're figuring out your plan tomorrow. You figure it out once, and that's this session that I'll talk about called the life plan. You figure it out once, and then all you do is go and refer back to it and transfer things over to your cards. So it makes your planning sessions every night truly 5 minutes. Like I said, at night, you shouldn't spend more than 5 minutes developing your new card for tomorrow. Tomorrow's card tonight, that's the goal, or that's the idea behind this system, is every night before you go to bed, you fill out tomorrow's card. Then you set it on the dresser in the morning, you wake up, and you've already got it. It's right there. You do a quick review as part of your morning routine, and you go at it. It's sitting there ready to go. But the night before, those 5 minutes you spend doing that truly can be 5 minutes. In fact, it can be 3 minutes probably, if you've done a good job with your life plan, because that's the document that you just pull off of all the things you need to be doing for the month, for the week, for the day, and all that. So this is called the life plan. I do mine in Excel. So I just open up an Excel spreadsheet and I start writing out, at first, if you don't know where to go or what to do, it's your very first time, you don't even have one main life goal right now, this is a great place to start. You list out everything that you want to do with your life, all the major goals. It's kind of like a bucket list. You dream a little and you have fun. And you don't put on any limitations. Zero limitations. You're not worried about budget. You're not worried about time. It's just stuff you want to do, okay? Should be real easy and fun and a great exercise. Before you start, though, I jumped the gun a little bit. Before you start, block off some time. You probably want to put aside about 2 hours or so. And you might give yourself a break, because 2 hours is a long time for intense, deep type of work. And this is deep thinking. This is heavy work, not physical labor, obviously, but it's very important work. So it's brain work. And you want to set the mood with some nice soft music. You want to eliminate interruptions, so turn off your cell phone. If you have kids, they're gone, or you've told them to leave me alone for 2 hours in my room, or whatever it is. So you set the stage for 2 hours of solitary concentration on yourself and your goals and your life. Okay, you also want to have a clean room environment. So you want to clean up the room, tidy it up, so you feel good being there. I think that's also important. These are just some tips, but once you get going, you don't want any distractions. That's the idea. And so you spend some time just dreaming. You just write. You're just writing. You're sitting at your keyboard and you're on an Excel spreadsheet and you're just writing things that you would love to do. Okay? They could be financial goals. They could be personal goals. They could be goals about your family and your relationships. It could be business goals. It could be fitness goals or weight loss goals, or anything that you want. You just write it all down. Just get it out. Okay? Our brains, you've heard me say this before, and you'll probably hear me say it again because I love this. It's so true. Our brains are factories, not warehouses. Okay? You don't want ideas hanging out in storage up there because they will deteriorate. It's a factory. It produces ideas. Get it on paper. Anytime you have ideas, get it out. Get it out. Write it down. Save it. Archive it. Journal it. Anyways, this is a chance for you to just empty your brain of any and all ideas that you've had pertaining to goals, anything you want to accomplish in your life. Now you prioritize them. And you say, well, these ones are great, but they're not like, top of my list. You try and narrow down to the top 3. What are the top 3 goals? If I had to pick from this list just 3, which ones would I pick? Okay? From those 3, you're going to choose what I call a domino goal. A domino. The domino is the one that tips over, it brings others with it. And if you have a lot of goals, like what we've just done this session, there are going to be some that overlap others. Like, for example, I may have a goal to pay cash for a car. I may have another goal to earn $1 million in a year. All right, crazy stuff, right? Why not? But if I earn $1 million in a year, then I can pay cash for a car. So the one goal kind of eats up the other goal. And so you're looking for your domino goals because they're the ones that have a compounding effect because they overlap other areas and they kind of knock off 2 or 3 things at a time. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone kind of a thing, all right? So you're looking for your domino goal, but you want to just narrow down your 3 and pick your top 1 goal. That's the one main goal you're going to focus on, okay? That's what you write at the top of your 3x5 card every night before you go to bed. It's your one main goal. And the reason why you write it down every day is because it reinforces it in your mind and it helps you hyper-focus. See, before this program, if I were to ask you, what is your one main goal in life? 95% of you couldn't even answer that question. And some of you might have to think a little bit. You're like, well, if I were to, and then hum-ha around something. If I were to ask you that right now, what is your one main goal in life? Do you have an answer for me? And if you do, how long do I have to wait for you to answer that question? Think about that though. If it's your one main goal in life, why would there even be any hesitation? Why would it not be right there? If it truly is your one main goal in life. Now, something interesting about that you should also know, doesn't mean there can't be other goals. It just means you only can focus on one main goal. It's a principle of focusing in all of your efforts and getting one thing done rather than spreading yourself out too thin. So the 3x5 goal setting system is designed to focus on one main goal at a time. Okay? So you probably have other goals in your life, and that's all great, but the one main goal, that's the big, hairy, audacious goal, as they call it. So you get that goal in place, and once you've got it, once you've identified it, you put it down on your spreadsheet. Now the next step is to simply write down, this is another brain dump, write down everything that is required to achieve that goal. Note, you're not going to have the full answer. The reason I can say that is because if it's a big goal, then you've never done it before. And having never done it before, there's no way you can know exactly everything that it takes for you to do it, right? Doesn't that make sense? Yes. So when you get stuck, and you will, and you're wondering if everything is there, or you're sitting there going, oh, I don't know what it's going to take. Well, you got to start somewhere. So you're going to do your best educated guess on that goal. You're going to say, you know what? I think it would take this and this. Well, this is common sense. Well, this part I do know. Beyond that, I don't really know. So you get as much down as you can. This document is living and breathing. So you're going to be coming back later, refining and adding to it, okay? Don't worry that you don't have all the answers, because you won't, and that's perfectly fine. So you're going to write down everything. The goal is to get 30 to 50 items on that list. Everything you can think of that needs to be done. Big stuff, little stuff, all kinds of things to achieve that goal. It's $1 million this year that you want to make. Wow, there's going to be a lot of things you're going to need to be doing, right? And the first thing might need to be figure out a business that's going to make $1 million a year. Next thing might be make $100,000 this month, okay? I'm just saying, I don't know. You're going to break it down into things that make sense logically as well as you can without having all the answers. And then you're going to prioritize that list. So you're going to take and you're going to label some of those things as, okay, this is a monthly goal because it's kind of big. This is a weekly goal, and this is a daily goal because it's really small and easy, right? Maybe it's write a blog, or maybe it's something that would show up on your daily to-do list. That's on the back of the goal-setting card. So once you've broken down that list or labeled all of those activities, now you save that and you start using that as a reference guide when you're filling out your goal cards in your evening. That's it. Real simple. So you're breaking it down into small steps, and now you've got a reference. Now that's, like I said, a living, breathing document. You're going to go back as you learn about your goal and as you absorb more information, and you add to that list. Okay, and you refine it. And you go, I was way off here. I'm going to scratch this. I'm going to change that. That's totally okay. What you don't want to change is your goal. Your goal stays. How you get there will change. Okay. So the next phase you've got to implement to make this all come together is you need to set up some kind of regular education about your goal. So if your goal is to make $1 million this year, you need to start studying people who have made $1 million in a year. Doesn't that make sense? So if you start subscribing to their podcasts, or you start subscribing to their blogs, you're going to slowly start educating yourself, and you're going to start picking up tips and ideas and suggestions and new thoughts and ways of doing things that you didn't know when you made your life plan. And it's going to change your list, and it's going to modify. And that's where you're going to get your rest of your information. That is where you're going to polish off your list of all those 30 to 50 things you've got to do to achieve that one main goal. Is you're going to set up an education system for yourself so you can get the answers, because the answers are out there, okay? You might have to hunt a little bit for them. You might have to work a little bit for them, but you're going to have to do some new things you've never done before, and that's okay. That's all part of this beautiful process we call achievement. So whatever your goal is, let's say it's a fitness goal, you're going to find somebody who is there. That's step one. Find someone who is where you want to be, who has achieved the goal you want to achieve. And then step two is make them a mentor. Now, let me clarify what I mean by that. You may or may not be able to have direct access to that person. There's a lot of people that do. You hunt them down, and you just be persistent until they say, you know what, yes, I'll give you the time of day, and they take a phone call, and you can start asking them questions, picking their brain, whatever. If they're a big figure, your chances of getting that are pretty slim. But that doesn't mean they still cannot be your mentor. What I mean by that is they are an influence in your life. And how do you get them to be an influence is you listen to their words. So most of these people who have a high level of achievement are putting themselves out there and teaching what they've done, because a lot of these people have big hearts and they want to give back. And it's very common when someone achieves a high level of success to write a book, to make a blog, to have a podcast, to go around speaking and doing speaking engagements, which are recorded. You can find them on YouTube. There are a lot of resources where you can get access to their information. You can start analyzing how they think. You can listen to their story, how they got started. What did they do in the early days? Those are the things that you are going to need to be doing. The bigger the goal, the longer it is going to take to achieve it. So that is how you ultimately get the answers, is by studying and putting yourself out there. There's a lot of tools you can use. There's Google Alerts, so that, let's say that you love what Darren Hardy has done with his life, and what you want to do is similar to what he has done. Well, you would put on a Google Alert for Darren Hardy. So anytime Darren Hardy shows up in the news, you're going to get an inbox or an email served up to your inbox saying, here's what's happened with Darren Hardy lately. You can subscribe to his YouTube channel. You can go to his website. You can look and see if there's a blog or a podcast. You can search podcasts where he's been interviewed. There are a lot of podcasts where he's been interviewed. He showed up on other people's podcasts, and you can hear what he said. Okay, that's where you get your information. That's how the rest of this comes alive. And that's it. From there, you just start. You do this and you attack. And you give yourself a timeline. The timeline might have to be adjusted, But as you break all these things down and you put them in a timeline and you say, I'm going to do this in March and this in April and this in May and this in June, you can look at that list and you can have a pretty good idea if that's something you can feasibly do or not. That's true. And you may or may not be right, but you can have a gut feeling. You can have an impression on it. You can have an opinion. And that's all you're doing is you're starting out. You don't have all the answers. But you're doing a lot of guessing. And you're trying to do as educated a guess as you possibly can. Because once you have that in place, you have a roadmap. And that's what most people don't have when they start their goals, is a roadmap. But you have one now. And it might be off. It might be a little different than what it needs to be, but it is something. And with that, now you have a starting point. Now you have a direction. Now you have a guide. Now you have somewhere to go. Now you have things to fill out on your daily goal cards. You have an action plan every morning, and it's all geared toward one big goal in the end. The vast, overwhelming majority of people do not have that. So that right there puts you in a very, very small minority of people that are goal setters and achievers. And now all you have to do is adjust and tweak your, where you were off along the way, and not give up, not quit. Just keep at it. Just keep at it. Keep at it. Everybody who's achieved a high level of success, they have done it through hard work and persistent action over a sustained period of time. It does not happen overnight. We see it overnight, right? It looks like overnight success. Where did that guy come from? Never heard of him before. All of a sudden, it looks he's making millions of dollars and this and that, and we're like, wow, he must have. And then, you see those people that put that out there, like, I went from dead broke to multi-millionaire in 3 months, and here's how I did it. You see those types of ads, and what they don't tell you is the years and years spent before that of trial and error, of frustration, of doing things wrong, of guessing, of this or that. It looks on the outside like it's a quick, easy fix, and it never is. People that really have achieved a high level of success will tell you that there is a big struggle that has to be won before you can get to that level of success. So all you have to do once your life plan is in place, the goal setting system is the execution arm of that life plan. All you have to do is check in regularly on that list. Go back and revisit, and pull those things down, your daily lists, your monthly, your weeklies, and your one main goal at the top every morning. Pull those things down onto your card and take it around with you. And then work hard, be open to change and adjustments along the way, and don't give up. I just gave you the formula for success, how a lot of people do it. Most high achievers, that's what they do. And that's what you can do too. Whether you've done it before or not, you can do it. This is not rocket science. It's very simple, but it's probably not going to be easy.